Okay, so um, I'm making this video because many of you are asking me about how to write a proper essay for LPDP scholarship, especially for the contributions that you can do to Indonesia. So I have several tips regarding to that question. The first is actually by looking at the instructions properly, by looking at the question. LPDP has clearly mentioned the three guidelines that you should answer, that you should give in accordance to answering those questions, which are your contributions that you've already done in the past, the contributions that you are currently doing, and the contributions that you might be doing in the future. So these three can help you to answer the contribution essay. The first guide is stating the contributions that you've already done in the past. This can actually correlate to your experiences. Like, for example, maybe you were a teacher at a high school level, or maybe you were a lecturer at a university. So you can write those things in the essay. So I know it might sound like it's something so little because you're not contributing something that huge for the country. However, what LPDP reviewer are actually looking at is that something small can make a large change. So something small can make a different change. It doesn't have to be necessarily that big. You can't really jump into something and go like, for example, oh, I want to change the curriculum of Indonesian education if you don't have the baseline through it. So I think that by stating you are like, for example, I was a lecturer before in the university. It is something that can be contributed to Indonesia. Other than that, for example, if you are a fresh graduate student and you're wondering what you've been doing that may contribute to the country, well, because I was also applying LPDP as a fresh grad student, I kind of correlate to what I have been doing in the university. Like, for example, maybe I've joined debate competition, or maybe I've wrote several journal articles, or maybe you've joined several conferences, those kind of things that help Indonesia or that help the society around you to get or to gain new knowledge. And maybe by involving yourself in several communities, it can improve yourself, right? And by improving yourself, that means you're worthy and you're useful to the society and the community around you. And then the second thing is the contribution that you are currently doing. So what are you doing right now? When I was writing the essay, I was actually teaching in the university, and I was also teaching at one kind of instance. Yeah, I don't know if that's a word. Anyway, so I was teaching at that place, and I explicitly stated that I was teaching at that place, and I guess it kind of contributes much because I kind of help people to gain or to learn language, which is English. And at that moment, I state how Indonesia really needs English language for maybe occupation, or maybe for TOEFL or IELTS, for jobs and stuff like that. So kind of like correlating to what you are doing in the society right now and how it can contribute to Indonesia in the field of maybe education or economy or maybe science, So from the smallest thing to the larger thing. It doesn't have to be like specifically jumping into a large idea directly. And then the third one is what you are going to do. So this is kind of the most like hardest question that everyone's confused about. What I did was I correlate all of those two experiences, and then I correlated with the study plan that I'm going to do. So when I was applying my scholarship, I applied at Macquarie University, which I later changed to the University of Sydney. When I applied to Macquarie University, Macquarie? Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. So I stated the study plan that I wanted to learn about education and teaching English for second language learners. And it really correlates to the past experiences, the past contributions that I've have that I've had. So like, for example, I have been writing journals, article, or maybe conferences about students literacy, or maybe about education, and those kind of things correlates to my future interest, which is in the field of education as well. So what I did was that I put down, or I jot down the kind of things that I will do in the future, which I have gained knowledge from the study that I did in the university, in my future university, which was on that case in the Macquarie University. So like, for example, I'm going to do an education program in Macquarie University, and I'm hoping that it can bring Indonesia, or I'm hoping that it can improve Indonesian education in terms of language teaching. And I stated that this will correlate to my finding of the study that I'm going to do there. So for example, at that moment, I was thinking of doing a thesis, which was about like the question strategies that are used by teachers to improve the critical thinking of students. You know, those can change later, but once you've already have that kind of plan, then you can use those things to make your future contribution. So this is in the field of education. Once more, it needs to correlate to the past experiences that you've already done, and also the current situations that you are doing. So for example, those things like those studies can also benefit me, right, in my current situation. And if I go back to Indonesia later, then those studies can also benefit me in my current in my profession, in my occupation later hand. So I guess when you write the contribution essay for Indonesia, you need to really answer the 3 guided questions that LPDP gave, because it's really clear, the outline. And once again, it needs to correlate with one another. So for example, if you're a science major, then you need to really look at how you have contribute yourself in the society or in the field of science, and then what you are doing now in the field of science and what you are later doing in the field of science. If you are, for example, not going to have a linear program, then it's fine, as long as you can really explain it and generalize it to how your past experiences and your future experience can correlate. So I guess that is it from me. I hope it really helps you guys, and I'm sorry if the video is being cut, because it's being cut. There's no such word as cut it, because I don't have the app for it. Okay, thank you.